Hey guys, I'm home from E3 now and I hope you've been following my Twitter and my site for E3 updates. If you haven't already, hop onto my E3 coverage page, the link's below the video, to download photos, interviews, as well as detailed demo notes and my thoughts and opinions about the game. While I was there, I had the opportunity to interview Brian Horton, Senior Art Director at Crystal Dynamics, and that's the interview you're about to watch. You may have seen on my Twitter I mentioned the group Q&A was really short, so I tried to get through as many questions with Brian as possible. If you have any questions or comments, please post below the video, and I really hope you enjoy this interview.
We believe the Tomb Raider fan and even the non-fan alike deserve the best vision of Tomb Raider that they can absolutely get. So no matter what, we believe if the time is required, we should give it. We looked at Legend as an opportunity to extend the core brand. There was a tuning and tweaking of that story, but we felt like the vision of Lara at that point was a continuation of where she had been. For this game, we really foundationally rethought of what Tomb Raider and Lara Croft can be, and I feel like, and we feel like, there's time investment in that. There's something we have a duty to make sure that our vision that comes through is respectful to the past, but also providing something new for players that might not have a lot of familiarity with Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. So with this delay, we believe it's not just we can play the game from beginning to end, and it's something that we make a conscious decision to say, do we want to put out this game, or do we want to put out a game that we know if we have a little bit more time, that will make a difference between something that's good and great. And we decided that it's worth putting the extra time to make it great. We believe the classics will always be there. There's nothing that we can do that is going to take something away from what the classic fiction is, the classic character is something that I've drawn on. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Tomb Raider was a game that made me go, this is the future of video games. This is why I want to be in this industry. So with our take on it and the fiction changes, we believe, just like you would see like in a Batman license or a James Bond, these are coveted franchises that have to reinvent themselves and have reinvented themselves over time. And we believe in video games, there's no reason why video games can't be different than these great films and these great franchises. So we believe what we're adding in value is, as a new angle, a little bit more emotional depth to Lara. We wanted to be able to say, get to know her a little bit before she's a fully formed character. And we feel like that's an important ingredient that we haven't seen in past Tomb Raider games. I mean, we've seen glimpses of the past, we've seen her in younger days, but we've never really fully gone through a journey from beginning to end on our first adventure all the way through to that point where she starts to understand who she is and what her destiny is. So yes, we believe we're contributing, we hope we're contributing a lot to the Tomb Raider legacy. I believe that the time that we're taking, the care that we're putting into characterization, fiction, building a character depth and a set of mechanics and challenge that I don't think that we've shown necessarily all in our press. I mean, we've shown experiences, we've shown a little bit of story, we've shown some big moment gameplay, but there is still a ton of skill challenge in our game. There is a lot of for the player to be smart, resourceful, and figure out how to navigate their environment, how to solve and clear through obstacles, that there is going to be a cerebral aspect to this game, but put through a modern filter. I mean, the formula that is in the classics is something that we definitely draw upon. It's the same ingredients, the same core pillars, just retuned and refashioned. We think is going to both satisfy a classic fan as well as someone who's never been a Tomb Raider fan at all. And that's that's, to be truthful, that's the line we had to balance. We had to evolve. It was one of those things that we knew it was our charge. We had to do it, but at the same time, we're doing it with a tremendous amount of respect for the fans and for the classic games. That statement more comes from a position of the goals that we have for this game revolve mostly around how do we both embrace our past and our history, but also engage new people. Engage people that might be not sure about Tomb Raider, never played Tomb Raider. So yeah, while that statement sounds maybe a bit harsh, we mean no disrespect by it. I mean, Tomb Raider is something that we absolutely covet as a franchise. It's something that we take very seriously. And, I believe when they play the game, regardless of the campaign or the phraseology, you're going to play that. And my hope is, our hope is when you play this, it's going to feel like that first time you played a Tomb Raider, where it's something different, you're not quite sure what it all means, but you just know this was worth the wait, this is worth the strife, and maybe some of the stress that might come from. They're really changing. They're playing with someone I really care about, and it concerns me. I understand where that concern comes from. All I can say to you guys is that the team is completely dedicated to making a Tomb Raider that we believe is going to honor the past as well as push the game forward. That's a good question. We thought very hard about how to frame the first human life that Lara would take. As we know, Lara's in the past has killed countless people. It's been it's a classic. It's one of those things that's in video games everywhere. We wanted to make sure it had an emotional trigger. There is no denying that Lara Croft is one of the strongest female protagonists in video games. At the same time, we believe that this course of action, if done respectfully, would have an emotional reaction from people. We knew we were going to elicit an emotional response. And what we felt we've done is, in context, we believe that the story in context makes sense, that we're not trying to be exploitive, that it does make sense based on all the events that lead up to and come after that moment. So what I can tell you without going into a lot of detail is that this is a trigger moment. It's highly charged and emotional, but we believe done with a certain amount of respect. When you saw the footage, we believe we have found that right mix of where it's not being exploitive, but at the same time, it had to have an emotional element to it. It had to have something that you felt scared for her. You felt you needed to fight, that it was a turning point in her character. So we understand and we appreciate the concern, and I can tell you that if there is anything like that in the future, we could give some kind of warning, but I believe this was the one moment that we really needed to say this, have this statement. So I don't expect too much more of that to be required in the future. There's certain things that we're doing with our health system. It is not a med pack based system like classics. You know, it is something where you will regenerate your health over time when you're damaged. The base camp, we're not going into a lot of detail how that will work, but the base camp, there will be aspects of the game where you will need to return to a base camp. Like for instance, at the bear trap moment, she auto-returned to a base camp. Base camps sort of become a point if you've been seriously damaged where you will regain your strength. There's like a time passage. There's a suggestion that healing has occurred. And we believe that that's the fiction that will help us explain why in some of these more extreme situations, Lara is able to recuperate. And, you know, we believe that that's the best way that we can rationalize what is maybe unreal with the amount of extreme, you know, adversity she has to go through, that the base camp system will help address those issues. Absolutely. In our demo, we chose not to. I could have performed it where she didn't die, but she absolutely. There will be moments that she will definitely die just from attrition or from a large event. You know, in the classics, Lara was impaled by spikes. You know, there was a certain mature content before there was mature. You know, in Tomb Raider, and that's one of the things I actually really liked and wanted to bring back was there was visceral death. You know, that happened to Lara, and we believe that's part of the DNA of a Tomb Raider game. I think what's funny is obviously that's a play, right? I mean, I hate tombs, I hate snakes. These are kind of tropes that you know, like Indiana Jones, I hate snakes. But you know, it gives people a chuckle a bit, right? I mean, it's obviously a play on the fact that she's Tomb Raider, or she will become Tomb Raider. That's also part of our character growth. I mean, Lara does not come across. She wants to be an archaeologist, not necessarily a Tomb Raider, right? She has, her aspirations are more scientific, less. She's got a quest for adventure, but she just wants to have discoveries, and she doesn't believe in the supernatural. She doesn't believe in the other. So these events and the things that she, you know, experiences throughout this game are going to turn her and change her. And you know, I don't think she's going to get to a point where she's going to say I love tombs per se as a switch, but you're going to get an idea that her whole persona will evolve by the time she gets to the end of this game. We're not going into those details at this point. Our main focus right now is just to make sure that when we're finishing the rest of the game, that it's as polished as it can possibly be. And Carl can probably get more details about that. We think she sounds more, I guess the word would be, we believe she sounds less of, what is the word? It's not a classic English accent, but it is one, if you go to London, it's one of more of the street. It's something that feels a little bit more mixed. It's multicultural. You know, right now London is a completely different place, right? It's much more multicultural. Accents are not as pure. We believe we have an authentic accent in our actress, and what people are perceiving is there is that lack. It's not as proper, maybe, as the classic Lara interpretation. Our game is mature. We took that decision not lightly. We wanted to make sure that we were doing it respectfully, but to tell a deeper emotional story. The violence is definitely going to be ratcheted up in this game, but done in such a way that we believe is not exploitive, but you know, is in context to the situation around it. We hope it honors fans as much as the thing is with change. People's interpretation of what that means to them and their character is going to be different. I spend a lot of time on the forums. I don't comment on the forums that much. I don't feel that's my place. That's a place for the fans to communicate. But I listen to what they have to say, and I hear the concerns. But I also hear people starting to really warm up to what we're doing, and they believe this is a Tomb Raider I can believe in. This is a different, but something I think I can really enjoy. That's what we hope. We hope that they can appreciate where the touchstones are, where the connections are with the classics, and they fall in love with Lara Croft all over again in a new way. And that's how we hope the fans take it.